Hello there, everybody. Trico here, and we are coming at you with part 5, the Canadian Grand Prix today. If you didn't see the last one, that was the Baku GP, where we scored some mega points with double safety cars. It was pure chaos. But we've also made sure that damage is on for this game, unlike this race, sorry, unlike last one. So there should be all good there, no dramas. But yeah, if we can recreate Baku at the Canadian GP this weekend, that'd be unbelievable because we like Canada just as much as Baku, and we're pretty good at Canada. So we might be able to punch above our weight again, and with a bit of chaos, yeah, it might work out for us. So plan is to be quite aggressive because that's normally how I drive at this track for for me anyway, at least. But yeah, so we're just changing components, just pretty much just for practice, just with the high wear on the quick practice, and then obviously just we rechange that just before qualifying and make sure the engine is all smick and smack, whatever the hell that means. So if we take a look at the standings quickly across the course, we're doing all right. We're sitting P11 in the drivers, so after the big win last time round. But yeah, so I mean, not much to really talk about for the admin side of things here. There wasn't too many. There was we got 2,000 resource points to spend on R&D, but we were bottlenecked at this point. We're waiting for a few parts to come in, which eventually do. But if you look at the vehicle comparison here on the chart, we're just ahead of Haas, and we're not too far behind Alfa Romeo either, but we really need to make some big strides on the R&D side of things to start getting competitive. But realistically, it's a 16 race season. We're almost halfway through now already with round 5. So yeah, we're gonna look pretty good, I think. But we'll make some big strides against the other lower kind of midfield teams towards the end of the season. At the rate we're going, we just need to break away from this bottom pack. Really, we're just hovering around the kind of the top of the bottom charts at the moment. So we just skipped straight into qualifying today. No if buts or maybes. We've already done our first banker lap, and as you can see, we did a 110.2, which is not bad in the FOM car. For my speed of racing. So first lap was pretty good. Aim of the second lap is to keep us in that Q2 qualification. We're right on the edge at the moment, so we need to improve by probably about 5/10 in the second lap, because that's generally kind of what all the AI tend to improve by on average. Is 3 to 5/10 range. And here's the second lap now at the end of it, and it looks like we're up by 6/10 at the moment, or 5, just short of 5. So we put in a pretty killing lap, to be honest. I was pretty happy with it. And as we come across the line, we're up by 6.5 tenths. So I was pretty confident we're going to go straight into Q2, and we did. We're into P11 with that that run, actually, which was pretty good. I was quite excited because I was like, hang on a minute here, we might actually be able to sneak into a higher position here. I was never even considering that we'd get into Q1 because that's just well out of the realms of our car. But I thought, hang on a minute, we might actually be able to get close to the top 10 on the grid and have a real shot at this. So yeah, we did a few laps extra in. Oh, sorry, we did our first lap as a banker time on mediums, I should say, not extra laps. And in the second run here, we were only up by about 5.5 tenths compared to our medium compound run, which was pretty disappointing, to be honest. So it wasn't a great lap from me, and we ended up in P15 and we did a 110.1, so it was a bit slower than our final Q1 run. But look, I mean, P15 on the grid, not too bad where the car's at. For where I'm at, the car's at the top of the bottom pack, as we said at the start. So we put ourselves in good position to try and compete for some points with an aggressive strategy. So let's get over to race day Sunday with Crofty.
We're back once again beside the St. Lawrence River here in Montreal for the Canadian Grand Prix. The event first moved to a variant of this track back in 1978. It was won by none other than Gilles Villeneuve, the first Canadian to ever win his home race, and in whose honour the circuit would be renamed. With top speeds of around 210 miles per hour heading into the overtaking opportunity of turn 13, the 2.7 miles of the circuit Gilles Villeneuve are some of the quickest on the Formula One calendar. There are 14 corners in total, with 60% of the lap taken at full throttle, and average lap speeds clock in at about 130 miles per hour. It's just about time to go to the track for the beginning of the race, but before we do, Anthony Davidson, what types of strategy do you think we can expect for today's event?
Well, there's a lot that both the driver and the team have to keep in mind when going into a race. The tyres, fuel, energy recovery systems, the list goes on and on. But I think the key to today's victory will come down to the pit stop strategy. Come in too soon and you might find yourself needing more than one stop. Too late and you're putting yourself at a disadvantage by spending longer on worn tyres.
Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks for today's race. An immense lap from Lewis Hamilton yesterday puts him on pole position, and it's Valtteri Bottas that completes the front row. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Norris, Ricciardo, Charles Leclerc and Perez, Verstappen, Sainz, Gasly and Sebastian Vettel, Fernando Alonso, Ocon, Lance Stroll and Tsunoda, the Professor, Raikkonen, Mick Schumacher and George Russell, Giovinazzi, Latifi, Mazepin and Robert Schwartzman. Which of these talented drivers will come out on top today?
So there we go, P15 on the grid. Our teammate is P22, as a lot of usual. The F2 drivers aren't the best. He's been doing all right though. He's been making up a couple positions in the race. So hopefully he can, you know, hopefully he can do a bit better. But like last week at Baku, it was carnage, and he did not capitalize at all. So hopefully he can capitalize a little bit this week if there's some good luck on our side, and he can get his way up the grid and compete better in this bottom pack, because he really needs to start showing that, you know, he can compete. Otherwise, we're gonna have to replace him come next season. But yeah, anyways, onto the strategy. We ended up going with a medium soft, just because I figured, you know what. Track evolution and all the rest of it, and if we can, since I'm pretty decent at this track, I figured if we can maintain a decent position on the mediums and to start with, that would set us up really well, and then the last 9 laps on the softs we can really attack, and hopefully we're not too far away from some guys ahead of us and possibly snag some cheeky points at the end of it, you know. So that's the plan. Aggressive once again, and let's gun for the points. So without further ado, let's get to the race start. Here we go. As we go, 4 lights, 5, and it's lights out, and away we go at the Canadian Grand Prix, and we get a not a bad start, but a little bit of wheel spin there, and as you can see, Raikkonen's got up on the outside to go for a big dive ball, and there goes Schumacher on the inside, and he actually made contact, and Schumacher spins out. Oh my lord! And we got a couple of cars as we're 3 wide, and we make some contact there with Lance Stroll, and as you can hear from Jeff, the bodywork takes us for scrapes, and it's just a slight shade of lighter green as we take a look at the replay. Schumacher with a kamikaze dive bomb at turn 1 spins out, and then we get caught on the front left wheel of Stroll. Have a bit of contact there as we take a look at Schumacher's point of view, and my lord, this was just never gonna work. I'm surprised he didn't lose his entire front wing there. He got lucky, got very lucky, hitting with colliding with the Alpine. So yeah, we've taken a little bit of the barge board damage there, which is unfortunate, but it hasn't. It's very light and not really causing us any issues. I could not feel any dramas at all with it. So I was pretty confident that we'd be able to go on. And as you can actually see ahead of us, Lance Stroll has a 5-second penalty, which is massive. So my thoughts at this point was, let's keep as aggressive as possible, keep within DRS for Stroll, as we have Raikkonen attacking us down the outside on the softs, and we go late on the braking, and we have our own kamikaze dive bomb inside of Tsunoda, make a bit of contact again, and absolutely blindside Tsunoda. So he's at absolutely no fault there. We were just way too late on the brakes there. But anyways, we can't stop because we've got Lance Stroll defending, attacking us, and Tsunoda there as well, as they look to both come on the left and the right side of me as we squeeze Tsunoda out, and he can't get the job done, and all Stroll decides to back out as we come into the wall of champions. Probably a smart idea. That would not have ended well if we went for the overtake there. So we actually gained another 5/10 just off that corner. As we take a look at the replay, Tsunoda, no idea what's happening, and then it's poor driving from me. Poor driving. It was a severe lapse in judgment there. I tried to just go a bit later on the brakes than Stroll, and I ended up just going so late, like stream past him. But yeah, so you know, the aggressive strategy, aggressive mindset from myself ended up being a bit too aggressive to start this race. Bit of barge board damage, and probably made it a little bit worse there with that dive bomb on Tsunoda at the hairpin. But not to worry, we maintain P13, and we're holding them off for now. We're on the back of Ocon, so as next lap we're going to get DRS, and that was the goal, right? Stick on the back of some of these faster cars and get DRS.
Side pods have taken damage. You may start to pick up a little drag.
What the hell are you talking about, Jeff? There's nothing wrong. In all honesty, I heard that and I was like, what are you talking about, Jeff? I've got no issues. Like, there's a slightly lighter shade of green. But as I actually checked later on, just there, as you saw down the bottom right, it was actually ended up being even lighter compared to when I checked at just after the hairpin. So there was continuing damage, right? It seemed like possibly the air was coming through and constantly making that damage a bit worse on the side of the car. So I wasn't really too sure, and it was at about this point in the race that I started to feel a little bit of drag and a little bit of an issue through the cornering. It wasn't that bad, it wasn't really costing me any time, but it was just making it a little bit more difficult to drive. But we were trudging through. We weren't losing any pace, and we were still going all right. We just had to be a bit more cautious through the corners. And as we get DRS and then use ERS and attack Ocon, we make a little bit of contact there with his back right wheel when we go purple sector 3, and we're too wide here as we go around turns 1 and 2, and we get the job done. We get better traction, get the elbows out, and squeeze him out, and we move up into P12. So we're attacking faster cars on a better compounds. And as we look up the road here, we got Sainz and Tsunoda going too wide. It looked like Sainz actually hit the wall, and there was a little bit of a contact there. And there's a big train that we've tacked onto the back of here, which has been unreal. So we're actually looking really, really good right now. We got, only 2 places out of the points position. On the medium tires, so all these guys are going to be going in for pits, in about 4 laps time, and their tires are at their peak performance right now, whereas we're about to come into our peak performance. So, we're looking pretty good as we go on 3 wide here into the hairpin, and we break latest of all. We lock up and we hit Vettel on the inside, and Vettel and Stroll are either side of us, and they get so much better exits, and we have a very poor exit. Ocon right behind us as we come down the straight. Oh my lord, we're going late on the braking constantly at that hairpin, and I was very stressed. I was worried I was going to take my own front wheel out. Anyways, we make it, and we go, oh my lord, we make a move on Stroll. We cut the corner a little bit to avoid him, and he nearly hits us as we then stick to the inside of Vettel. And can we get this move done and get a double position back and up into P11 as we're too wide around turn 2, and it looks like Vettel just nicked us a little bit, and we got more damage and an engine injury. Jeff, don't give me that. Oh no, it's been stressed out. This has been mental start of the races. Look at that. That's disgusting driving from myself. Big lockup, and look at that damage. Look at that damage. You can see it right on the sponsor there. There's a hole in the side of my car. So that's why you can see the lighter shade of greens on the MFD, and it's just I only have myself to blame, really. Like, I have not had a clean race at all. My aggressive driving mindset was just overly aggressive, and I was way too late on the braking at a lot of corners. And as you look here, Stroll narrowly avoids us. I again was late on the braking, that was all my fault. That situation there, I was too late on the braking, and I had to duck up the inside and cut the corner to avoid Stroll. If this was on strict corner cutting rules, which is on just the normal, like on regular, if it was on strict, we would have a 3-second penalty by now, for sure, without a doubt. Anyways, we're on to lap 5 here, and we're behind Vettel as he maintained that position or coming around turn 2. And as we got Stroll come down the outside of us, and so much faster than us, that Aston Martin's just so much better. But we're really trying to fight to just stay in the battle here for possible points as we go around the hairpin, and we maintain our position in P12. And we're going to get DRS as well as Stroll and Ocon behind us, who will also have DRS. But we're going to deploy some ARS here as well as we gain a bit of position on Vettel. And you can see Stroll there looking to come up the inside here, and we're giving him a bit of space. And oh no!
Are you okay?
No!
Nasty hit.
We're into the wall. Stroll's put us into the wall. Oh my lord. Our front left wheel got yeeted off as we collided with the wall. As we take a look at the replay here, honestly, I only got myself to blame, really. Like, I mean, this incident was Stroll's Stroll's fault, in my opinion. And then I looked at the replay, and I can't really blame him, to be honest. I mean, the track just narrowed. Look at this. Like, I haven't moved over. He hasn't moved at all. The track just narrowed a little bit. And it happened so quickly. He just clipped the rear end of me, and boom, straight in the wall, gone. Lap 5, we're done. DNF'd. Which is killing me, because that's what? 3 out of 5 races we've DNF'd in. 3 out of 5. Like, and the 2 we haven't DNF'd in, we've got points. So... oh, Jesus Christ. Look at all the debris for there. The front, look at that. The front wing went flying. The front left wheel is gone. Oh, Stroll's front wing's gone as well. Oh, no. So let's just take a look at the cockpit view here. And, you know, as he's coming up the inside of us, it's looking all right. And then the track just narrows a bit. I move over slightly just because of the racing line, and he's just got nowhere to go. I mean, you know, there's an argument to be said that he should have backed out of it a little bit, but, you know, it was just, it happened so quickly. The track narrowed so fast, and he probably expected me to give him a bit more room, which I did not at all. I honestly just did not think he would keep his nose in there, to be honest. I thought he was going to back out just enough, as the AI normally do, and I was very much wrong. And it cost me the race, and we were looking very strong there. So honestly, I was livid at the end of this. You know, two DNFs this season so far that should not have been DNFs. I mean, this one, you know, it's a racing incident. What can you do? But, you know, if you look back to Spain, we DNF there, and it was terrible. Terrible DNF, just very poor driving for myself. So we've had a few races, Spain and this one now, Canada, where we've driven pretty poorly, if I will admit, you know, and do say so myself. We've driven quite poorly, so yeah, it's unfortunately it's a short one today, guys, and I am very sorry about that, but you know, these things happen, and you get put into walls sometimes at the maximum speed point on a straight. And what can you do? You know, these things happen. If that was IRL, that would have been very nasty. But thankfully it was all alright, and it is on the game, so no harm done other than my bruised ego. So if we take a look at the driver's stand, the final positions, Hamilton to Bottas to Ricciardo to Norris. So the McLarens are looking very quick, and they look to be actually competing with the Mercedes a lot more than the Red Bull are. If we look at Schwartzman, he moved up to P18, which one of those positions was free, and we had Charles Leclerc DNF'd after we DNF'd, and also so did Lance Stroll. So he must have DNF'd not long after we did, so there must have been some big damage to his car. I don't know what Leclerc's DNF with, and obviously I can't go back and check because the game simulates the rest of the race once we finish our race. So yeah, there we are in P13 with 7 points. You know, what can I say? I mean, I don't have much to say about this race. I was pretty pissed, if I have to admit it. But five laps in and you get creamed into the wall, so not much you can do. We're in P8 there in constructors. Mercedes already holding a commanding lead over the rest of the field. It looks like McLaren and Red Bull are going to have a tight fight for P2 and P3 in the constructors, and then you're going to look at probably AlphaTauri, Ferrari, and Aston Martin competing for P4. But next week we go to Austria. So we got the Austrian GP at the Red Bull Ring, which is one of my favorite tracks on the grid, on the calendar. So hopefully we have a bit more of an entertaining race. But thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to subscribe. Peace.